everyone, my name is Akshay Kumar Dattatre Bhagat and today is 18th of May 2022 and it's my original video. So our today's topic is the checked and unchecked exception. So before going to our today's topic, first of all we will see in short what is an exception. So basically exception is a situation or condition in which our code gets terminated or it stops and execution further execution stops and actually this cases arise during when we are developing our code. So the exception is classified into the checked exception, unchecked exception, and the other one is an error. So basically, we will see then what is meant by checked exception, unchecked exception, and errors, and how to uh, handle the exception. So we will start with the checked exception. So the checked exceptions are the compile time exceptions. The compiler gives a message to when this situation like except if the situation arises that exception is coming, then at the compile time only our compiler shows that this can raise an exception. So it is not actually means compulsory that if the exception arises, but that risky code can arise an exception due to which the termination can occur. So for that sake we have to actually use the try and catch block at that exception, or there is an another concept called as an throw and throws exception, so that we will see it later. So first of all we will see the checked and unchecked exception. So then the next one is an unchecked exception. So the unchecked exceptions are means the compiler doesn't shows that the exception can arise. If the programmer while doing programmer, if he thoughts that it the our that block of statement can arise an exception, so he will put it in try and catch that exception. Else we can run the program and afterwards the exception may arise or may not arise based on the situation. But the unchecked exceptions are the actually runtime exception, which arises during the runtime, which may arise or which may not arise. Mm. Then this is a basic difference between the checked exception and unchecked exception. So we will take one scenario that if suppose take an example, if an room is means having an risk, at that time when the thread is coming towards the room, then it checks whether it is having if checked exception means at the time of coming only it checks whether the room is having any bomb or not. If it is having, then that is used in try and catch. Like this we can handle the situation, and we go programmer towards the safe side. And in unchecked exception, it doesn't check whether it is having or no, it just enters into the room whether for his safety sake he can use the try and catch block. So this is basic difference between the checked and unchecked exception. So what is meant by errors? So errors are caused due to the system crash or IO crash. Basically, these errors cannot be solved because the programmer can just handle the checked and unchecked exception, but the errors are from server side, so that cannot be handled. It may be of system crash or any other, so that cannot be handled. So this is an errors. Then uh, we will see what is meant by throw and throws keyword. So basically, the throws keyword is being used when, suppose we are having an multiple methods. Suppose take an example, we are having the three methods, and we are calling one by one methods, and at the end we are having main method. Then suppose in one method we are having a risky code. At that time he just throws an exception. Then that method just tells that I'm having an risky code. If you the exception may occur or may not occur. If you want to go for safer side, then you can handle the exception, else you can throw it next throw it to the next. So like this, the exception propagation, it is called as an exception propagation. Means every method will just throw its exception, no one will handle it. Then if by means bad luck, if an exception arises, at that time our program will get terminated, it will not execute further, and it will show the compilation error. By using throws keyword, actually we are not handling the exception. For handling the exception, we are having just try and catch block only. We can handle the exception. And in the other case, we are having the throw keyword. In throw keyword, basically we are arising the exception. In some scenarios like high security scenarios, we are having means the customer needs that means to throw an exception. So at that time we are using an throw exception. So this is all about checked and unchecked exception. Thank you.